Thank you very much for watching here in conversation with Claire March from Hawker Britain. She is in Melbourne. Senator Jane Hume lives in Melbourne but is with us right now. She's, of course, Senator from Victoria in the Liberal Party, the Liberal Democrats in New South Wales, the man who'd love to pass a law to balance a budget. Just what a great idea.
No pay rises until it's done.
Yes, do it, baby. See what happens. Watch them all just scurry and vote against it. Yeah. That'd be Senator David Lionhelm and Bronwyn Bishop, former Speaker of the Federal Parliament and Sky News contributor. Had the chance to see Angela the past couple of days. She's looking good.
She is.
She's looking good.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, Queensland, as you know, there was the budget just recently passed by the government or announced by the government where essentially they're in surplus because of coal. But of course, they have 50-50 renewable energy when it comes to the Labor Party. And that money of coal is, well, not to be used for energy in Queensland. Instead, it's off to produce energy around the world. And the Liberals have now, well, said this today and effectively given up the fight in favour of coal that in part is holding up the Queensland budget. Have a look.
Promise Queenslanders that the LNP will plan for a future beyond coal.
Yeah.
These government-owned businesses need a future beyond the current generation stock and should be allowed to look at new technologies when it makes economic sense to do so. We will protect the environment and ensure that Queensland is as beautiful in the future as it is today.
So, Bronwyn, has she left herself some wiggle room here or has she vacated the field?
Well, I think she's been smoking something.
Deb Frecklington, the opposition leader.
I seriously, I thought she was a reasonable sort of person, but so help me, I have never heard so much dribble in my life.
Well, they literally went to the election that they only lost by one seat saying, let's build a coal-fired power station.
And I thought she was reasonably intelligent and understood that if you want to have industry, you've got to have baseload. That is energy that is deliverable every day at a consistent level. That's what it means.
But she left herself, and she did leave herself a little out when she said where it makes economic sense. Now, depends what she means by that. I suspect she doesn't mean that power prices should be half what they are now, because that's the only economic sense I can think of. Now, and if that's what she means, then fine, go for it. I'm indifferent as to how she achieves that. As long as power prices are half what they are now, that's the target, so that we can get the industry going again.
But also,
the best I can hope is that someone advised us who she can sack and find someone with sense.
A better speechwriter.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. I mean, Jane, the issue for me is again, you know, political contrasts, all the rest of it here. Queensland's a place where, you know, once you start to get the further away from Brisbane, the options of power companies narrows to one for basically most of, you know, the middle and all the way up north. Anytime you go, you know the power price issue wherever we happen to go. It's an incredible backflip from the LNP when this year at an election they said we'll build a coal-fired power station should they become the government in the next couple of years. That's not what she's saying now. That's one heck of a change.
Yeah, look, I've got to say, this one came out of left field for me, almost literally left field. That doesn't sound like an LNP policy to me. I think we've spoken about this before. Paul, you know that I like to sprinkle brown coal on my Wheaties in the morning. I am a brown coal advocate because I'm from Victoria. Always have been, always will be. You're absolutely right, Bronwyn. Baseload power is exactly what we need. It's been the source of our competitive advantage for decades. For decades, which is the reason why we always put up with high labour prices, is because we had low energy prices. Now we've lost that competitive advantage and we need to go back to coal for it. However, that said, one of my great disappointments is that there hasn't been a consistent national approach to this, and Josh Frydenberg's National Energy Guarantee, which is technology neutral, which takes away the subsidies, takes away the taxes, takes away the trading schemes, is the way to get a nationally consistent approach to energy policy.
It doesn't really do it. It leaves those subsidies in place till 2030, and the ones that are in place are grandfathered. It just doesn't
these
do it.
Crazy renewable energy targets that the states are imposing upon themselves that will be the end of us.
It'll be the end of
well, they're going way further than where the feds are at 50-50. But also being clear, look, the truth is that in Queensland, a government promising 50-50 got re-elected. Is there a political calculation here being made by the LNP in Queensland that the horse has bolted on this fight and it's time to, you know, all jump into lockstep? You know, they're going to spend $1 billion, or a private company will, $1 billion for 200 wind farms in Queensland that'll produce a grand total of 3% of everything that they need energy-wise across the state.
The thing that the Queensland LNP got wrong was that they couldn't handle their preference deals.
Well, okay. Yeah, that's true. Claire?
So it's a public policy that the public like because it's good policy and it's good economic policy as well. In Queensland, more than anywhere, they have terrific natural assets. The Great Barrier Reef, which is worth, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars to the local economy, and they know that they need to protect that. And not to mention all of the other state assets along the coastline, that if Australia saw just a 1 metre rise in seawaters, you would lose hundreds of billions of dollars of state assets there. So yes, it's a good political decision.
Right, you think
Here's
that
the Doomsday Book.
You think that 1 metre is a bit much?
Not even the IPCC is predicting that. It's only that.
I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying what it's representative of. I'm just saying we need to understand here what the economic risk of climate change is.
Rubbish.
Like,
but no one's saying a metre's coming.
Anything happens.
The problem with that argument is that Australia's contribution to climate change, even assuming all the calculations about carbon dioxide emissions are valid in terms of their forcing of higher temperatures, Australia's contribution is 4/5 of 5/8 of, well, you know the rest.
I thought if anyone was going to go there, you were going to go there.
You choose to be defeatists on that.
Not even me.
You guys choose to be defeatists on that. We don't. The Labor Party don't. We choose to be leaders in our region when it comes to climate change. We choose to drag people there to the table.
So who's following us? That's the problem. Who's following us? Certainly not China, certainly not India. United States pulled out of America.
We're a wealthy country that is more exposed than anywhere else.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to Claire, I want to engage on just one part of this, right? Where, you know, like anyone, if a better mousetrap can be created, then great, let's get there. I can understand all of the things that in the end, once the infrastructure is built, then potentially renewables will be able to do what coal currently does. But the bit that is always missing for the conversation of the advocacy of renewable energy is the billions of dollars required to build the infrastructure to actually do it, which is simultaneously the argument used against building a coal-fired power station. So we sort of can't have it both ways here, where we can't pretend we're 30 years down the track. We've got to spend billions, either compelled, subsidised or paid for by customers.
We are spending billions of dollars, to use your words, into investing into new technology that doesn't harm our environment and investing in our economic future. I mean, so does everyone else have to subsidise the economic recklessness of those who trash our global environment, like our natural environment?
No, my view is that you only go all in when the technology is up to scratch, and the technology isn't up to scratch. Now, can you have transitions? But the point is, you can't say no. Like, if it costs $60 billion to build all of the things required to get us to 50-50, someone's paying $60 billion. It's either going to be the taxpayer who'll give them a loan for it, or it's the company and therefore the customer. But that's all I'm asking, is just for a recognition that the cost of building the infrastructure is tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah, and I've given you that recognition tonight and in previous shows, but it is an investment. It's an investment in the skills and capabilities of the Australian workforce and our manufacturing industry, and it's an ambition to become an ultimate exporter in this technology. In that is too big of a boat to miss.